Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm privileged to welcome a very, very accomplished teenager with a passion to make a difference from Gurgaon, India, Kashvi Jindal. Kashvi, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm really honored to be here.
Thank you. Kashvi is the founder of Invest Change, which is the platform with the noble cause of equipping the underprivileged with the precious tool of financial literacy. So Kashvi, before I talk about Invest Change, briefly tell me about your own self.
So I'm currently 17 years old. I would like to think of myself as someone who's really extroverted. Ever since I was young, I've loved interacting with people, gaining new perspectives. I absolutely love traveling. And one secret thing about me would be that I love trying out new ice cream flavors, be it red hot chili pepper or the classic chocolate chip. I've tried it all.
Amazing. So I must try red hot chili peppers next time I get a chance.
Absolutely.
I've never tried that one. So let's talk, Kashvi, about Invest Change. Tell me about Invest Change and what was your motivation to start it?
Sure. So at Invest the Change, we're basically trying to bring financial awareness and financial knowledge to blue collar workers, specifically government schemes that can be accessed by them. We talk to them about the government schemes, the benefits, the way of procurement, as well as help them acquire these schemes, whether it's filling out the forms or whether it's through e-banking, whatever it is. And the main motivation to start it was so around COVID, like around 2 years back, in my own locality, there was the death of a housekeeping staff member, and his family was in immense financial debt after that. He basically died in a car accident, and his family was facing a lot of issues, and everybody in the society started crowdfunding and we started raising money. While I thought that that was a beautiful way to help somebody's family, I realized that wasn't a very sustainable way. Like there might be so many more people who are suffering who are not able to benefit through the ways of crowdfunding. So there have to be ways that are more secure, that make them more independent. So I started researching and I actually came across a pattern that, especially post pandemic, there had been a surge in medical emergencies and people were suffering a lot. People were using their savings to for their financial procedure, for their medical procedures, or whatever it was. So when I started looking for solutions, obviously the first solution that comes up is insurance. But then I realized that private insurance is extremely expensive, and government insurance, on the other hand, is extremely affordable and it can be accessed by these people. So I started looking for such schemes, and that's how Invest the Change was
How
brought upon.
amazing. How amazing. But the other question I had was, Kashvi, that one thing is to be able to support them make investments, but you're also focusing on literacy, which means that you're enabling them to understand where they're going to invest and maybe prepare them for the future. Tell me, why did you focus on financial literacy?
I believe that financial literacy is extremely important, especially in a country like India. It like in financial matters, it usually is the men of the house who are taking care of these matters, or usually the older members of the family. So the women or the younger members of the family are in the dark about where the finances are being used or what exactly is the procedure for it. And I do believe that having basic financial literacy to know where you can use your money more effectively, where you can cost save, or whatever it is, I think that's extremely important, especially to lead a financially secure life, as well as know how you can make better use of your money. So my main motive was that it shouldn't financial literacy only shouldn't be like restrained to the oldest male members of the family, but also expanding it to other members of the family who are the up and coming Indians.
Great response. And how do you believe financial literacy can make a positive impact on a family?
I think financial literacy can have a lot of impacts on the
Hmm.
family, whether it is being able to channel the savings that they were using elsewhere into the children's education, or getting a vehicle for themselves, which might make commute to work easier, or even for that matter, just overall improving their standard of living.
Hmm.
It also helps you feel more in control of yourself, of the way your life works. I think that if a family is able to use their finances more effectively and efficiently, they are more in control. And in cases of emergencies, whether it's a medical emergency or a financial emergency, whatever it is, you have a sense of financial security, which I do believe is extremely important.
Hmm.
And that also makes you independent, not dependent on some kind of middlemen, loans, whatever it is. You
Hmm.
have your own securities.
Hmm. And what is the process that you follow, to reach out to so many different communities and, provide them the education they need?
So one thing that I do is I like what I started with was I started with my own society where I live. I
Hmm.
reached out to the manager in my society, talked to him that I was doing this, and if we could like arrange a short 45-minute to 1 hour session with all the housekeeping staff members, whether it's the gardeners,
Hmm.
drivers, security guards, because these are the people who end up suffering the most
Hmm.
when there are such kind of financial emergencies, and they would be the target audience.
Hmm.
So I started with my own locality, for example, and after that, I've just started reaching out to organizations or schools where I know that there is a significant blue collar workforce number, so that I can assemble all of them and talk to them at once, explain them the whole process.
Hmm. Very interesting. My next question is that, when you talk about, being able to work with the blue collar workers, you're also embarking on your own entrepreneurial journey. What are some of the skills you have developed as you have gone through your own journey?
So one thing would definitely be how to connect with the audience,
Hmm.
because while you're talking to them, it shouldn't come off as very mechanical, or you really truly have to like connect with the audience, whether it's speaking in a slightly different language or using different examples, whatever it is.
Hmm.
One thing I did realize that really helped me at least was firstly giving a lot of anecdotes, stories, talking from personal experience, or giving them the experiences of other people so that they have a slight relatability, as well as using a lot of pictures or posters, something that keeps them engaged and making
Hmm.
it as interactive as possible.
Hmm.
Secondly, I realize that a lot of these people are not even comfortable with Hindi, of course,
Hmm.
right? When I'm speaking, I make sure that it's in a language that the audience understands. And I
Hmm.
personally only know Hindi and English.
Hmm.
So I can conduct the session in Hindi. But I realize that a lot of these people might not be able to get a few words because a lot of them were from Bihar or West Bengal because they were migrant workers.
Hmm.
So I started training volunteers who were equipped in those languages
Hmm.
to help me conduct the session so that the audience had a higher relatability and could higher understandability towards the content.
Hmm. How amazing. How amazing. My next question is that, you told me that you got a few people who support you, etc. But what are the other resources or tools that your platform offers to promote financial literacy?
So I've made my own website. It gives the information about the schemes and what the benefits are from those particular schemes.
Hmm.
And it's almost like a one-stop shop for the people. What they can do is you put in your name, you put in your basic email address, and if you want to reach out, you can reach out. And after that, you get like a catalog of the schemes
Hmm.
arranged very neatly, and that's available in multiple languages, not
Hmm.
just English. So I've made sure to incorporate all the government brochures that are available in all the other languages on
Hmm.
the website itself. And directly from there, if they want to apply for the particular scheme, they can press a button and it redirects them to that page. It's something like, it's like, I would call it a one-stop shop for all the schemes, the information, and the application.
How wonderful. And for a lot of our viewers and listeners, can you give me an example of one of the individuals you may have helped, without any names, of course, and how did they
Sure.
benefit?
Sure. So I was conducting one such session in the Dehradun district, and there was this lady. She came to me and she was saying that my husband drinks a lot. He comes back home. He's not been working recently, and I'm the sole breadwinner of my family. Even though like he's working, he's not earning really well, and it's been really difficult recently because he has been sick and a lot of the savings have gone towards his treatment, right? And I also have to support my children's education, books for them. So I'm like struggling a lot. So, and she was present in one of these sessions. So I talked to her about these schemes. And the main reason she was that her husband was working at a construction site. People who are already involved in construction have a higher chance of accidents, or they're working in a job that comes with more risks related to physical injuries. So I was talking to her, and she realized that one of the schemes would really benefit her family. And thankfully, though, like all these schemes, like I mentioned, are insurance schemes, so they only come in handy in case of an emergency, right? She has been able to acquire the scheme, and I do post follow-up checkups after the people have received the schemes as well, just to see if everything is going well, if they were going to change something, opt out of the scheme, or get another scheme. I do post follow-up checkups. So in one post follow-up checkup, she had mentioned that ever since I've started, getting the benefit of these schemes, and I've started paying the annual amount that is required for the scheme. It's such a huge relief because now I don't have to worry about, oh, okay, if something happens to him, मैं क्या करूँगी? मुझे पता है कि वो scheme है, पैसे चले जाएंगे वहाँ पे. So, and yeah, so that was one of the stories.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing the story. My next question, Kashvi, is that, as a teenager, and there are so many demands on your own time and so many things that you want to do, how do you balance your own responsibilities at Invest the Change with your education and your own personal life?
One thing, like, of course, it's very challenging at times, and I still struggle with it. But one thing that I've learned that really works for me is prioritizing. I make like a weekly to-do list for myself, putting the highest priorities in the top and making sure that I work my way from down there. Because a lot of the times it might be that, oh, like I'll forget what needs to be done, or I'll end up doing the things that are less important and forget the things that are more towards the deadline. So I started doing that. So prioritizing and getting help as well, like with Invest the Change, has been extremely helpful for me, because I realized that I can't do everything on my own after a point. I should get help to be able to expand and not compromise on the quality of the sessions or how they're being conducted. So getting help and prioritizing and making to-do lists have been a savior.
Fascinating. And how has your own perspective on finance and financial literacy evolved since you started Invest the Change?
So I remember initially when I had started these sessions, like I've always been interested in finance, right? So I was like thinking, oh, what can I do? What can I do? And before the incident happened, before I started talking about the government insurance schemes, I was thinking, maybe I can talk about mutual funds or the stock market or something like that. But then I later realized that the most of the population in India does not even have those excess funds to be able to invest in any of these, whether it's mutual funds or the stock markets or gold or whatever it is. For them, it's difficult to even make ends meet. So I realized that the biggest problem in India is the dissemination of financial literacy, the dissemination of financial information,
Right.
and how I can play my own role to make that as accessible as possible.
Mhm.
And that starts from the most basic things, whether it's insurance schemes or just where your daily salary is going on a weekly basis,
Hmm.
monitoring that or tracking that. So I think a few of these things have like really made me shift my perspective.
Amazing. So I have time for two more questions. My next question is that what role do you see technology playing in the future of financial education, especially for a lot of the blue collar workers?
So one thing that, like I mentioned, was that financial literacy for them is a very alien concept, right?
Mm.
Some of the terms are very complicated. They've never heard of it before. And some of the sessions, they might become a little like they might be a little confused or they might not be as interested.
Hmm.
And the most important thing is to have the audience as interested and engaged in the conversation as possible.
Hmm.
So I do think that technology can play a huge role. It's just an ambitious idea, but what I
Hmm.
do think could happen in the future is how we could integrate like educational games or educational shows related to financial literacy within like the media,
Hmm.
whether it's creating some sort of a game that's giving you financial literacy, financial knowledge, so something that
Hmm.
keeps you engaged, that's fun, but at the same time you're benefiting from it.
Hmm.
And where if it's like TV show or something, or a small segment on the TV that people watch that's
Hmm.
available in regional languages, I think that could be super interesting as well, because I feel like the entertainment industry is something that blue collar workers would also be interested in watching. It's something that keeps them engaged.
Mhm.
And incorporating elements of education into it is something that could be explored upon. And I think that could be a big industry.
How amazing. Um, and where do you see invest the change 3, 4, 5 years from now? Because I'm sure you'll be off to college and doing lots of other things.
So one thing that I really do want is for Invest the Change to scale as much as possible,
Hmm.
help as many people as possible.
Hmm.
And also my future aim is to make sure that the app and the website is available in all languages that are spoken across India,
Hmm.
so that it's not only restricted to a certain people, a certain population, but it can be accessed by everybody all across India, and also
Hmm.
to just get volunteers, have a bigger team
Hmm.
that is pan India, so that we can extend the sessions in different states and to as many institutions as possible.
Hmm.
As well as I do think that I would really want that from my college education, from what I learned, I'm able to incorporate technology into Invest the Change as much as possible,
Hmm.
because I do think that is the next big and coming thing, especially to make financial education as accessible as possible.
Hmm. Wonderful. What a great response. And Kashi, my last question to you. What is the message you would like to leave with our listeners about the importance of financial literacy and the work Invest the Change is doing?
So one common message for everybody would definitely be that, if you're doing some sort of work, if you're helping somebody, don't
Hmm.
think that, oh, I'm just helping two people. What difference would it make?
Hmm.
There is always a ripple effect from the
Hmm.
work that you do.
Hmm.
And especially when it comes to financial knowledge, financial literacy for that matter,
Hmm.
I do think that even if you're helping a few people, that knowledge passes on.
Hmm.
And everybody should play their role in whatever it is, whether it's the helpers who are working in our house, just talking to them about those schemes, or talking to the Didi Bhaiyas at your school, even starting as small as possible,
Hmm.
but reaching out to the people who you know are the most in need of financial literacy, financial knowledge, as well as I would say that for parents, inculcating these conversations in their daily converse with their children, Because I do think that that is a very important thing as well. Children should start knowing how to save money, how to spend it more effectively, and I think just make talks about financial literacy and financial matters more normal, because I still do think that they are a taboo, especially between children and women. And to break that barrier, I think would be one thing that we should all aim to do.
Oh, amazing. And on that note, Kashvi, and the amazing conversation I've had, I think you're doing really an incredible job in empowering not just blue collar workers, but their entire families. I think it is something which I'm amazed to listen to everything that you are doing. I think what you also, or you have created, is something which will not just empower families in India, but probably the globe, because this is such an important factor and and something that is really ignored by almost everybody, on how important financial literacy is for each and every one of us.
Definitely.
Good luck with everything that you're doing. I'll keep watching out for all the successes I'm sure you'll have through your life, and all the very best.
Thank you so much. It was absolutely lovely talking to you.
Wonderful. Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.